Coming up, mangled metal. Serious crashes in D.C. and Montgomery County. One of them hurting a child, another with a smoking Tesla and overturning a car. What we know right now. Smithsonian Museum set to close Sunday. The final day to visit the government before the government shutdown ends. Reaction from museum fans ahead.
This is a serious storm. This is something we're taking very, very seriously.
Storm warning in Ocean City, Maryland. Leaders say flooding and winds could recreate conditions from Superstorm Sandy. What to know and prepare for to keep everybody safe. And elsewhere, it's a wet weekend in the DMV. Showers likely for Sunday. We're breaking down the timing for you to plan ahead. Famed actress Diane Keaton has reportedly died at the age of 79. The news is spreading across the movie and TV industry. Plus, we're stretching your dollar. The not-so-sweet news about chocolate prices, but the tips and tricks to save cash before trick-or-treat.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Saturday evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight with your top story. A child is among several people hurt in a serious car crash in Montgomery County. Emergency crews rushed to South Frederick Avenue and South Westland Drive around 10:30 this morning. That's just down the road from Gaithersburg High School. A pickup truck had severe damage to the bed and hit a utility pole. The front end of a sedan was caved in. Another car was reportedly involved, and the person driving that one declined to be treated. However, 4 other people were treated for injuries on scene, including the child. Good news here, everybody's expected to be okay. The cause of the crash is still unconfirmed. Separately, 5 people were rushed to the hospital after a serious crash in Northwest D.C. overnight. Fire officials say this happened at Rhode Island and Florida Avenues around 4:30 this morning. 2 cars were involved. One of them caught fire, the Tesla. The other was flipped on its roof. D.C. Fire says that medics took 1 man to the hospital with critical injuries. 4 other people, 1 woman and 3 men, were sent with serious injuries. The cause of this has not been shared. Well, the government shutdown is on day 11 and more people are feeling the impact directly. The latest, tourism. All of the Smithsonian museums are now closed until further notice. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us live from the National Mall. Dave, I imagine a big upset for people wanting to take in the sights.
No question about it, as the National African American History Museum closed its doors about 30 minutes ago, along with the other Smithsonian museums. They will not reopen until the end of this partial shutdown of the federal government. The Smithsonian museums managed to stay open this long as they used money from last year to remain operating. The Smithsonian Institution runs 21 museums, 14 education and research centers, and the National Zoo. They drew nearly 17 million visits last year. Just over 1.5 million took place here at the National Museum of African American History. Yes, people are upset now all of the sites are closed until further notice, but there's also concern for the people who work inside Smithsonian buildings.
And right now, these people basically will be without a job and being able to not to pay for their bills. A lot of them, I come over here every day and they're worried about how they're gonna make it over the next month if this takes some money.
Even though the museums are closed for now, there's still plenty of other free displays you can see, including the open-air memorials along the National Mall, although visitor centers may be closed. We should also point out the Kennedy Center is still operating, with all performances set to go on as scheduled. We're live along the National Mall in Northwest. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Tough news for some folks. Dave, thanks. Meantime, we've learned that President Donald Trump has just announced he is directing the Pentagon to use all available funds to make sure U.S. troops are paid come Wednesday. That's despite the government shutdown. Mr. Trump made the announcement on social media, saying that he's directing this because, quote, our brave troops will miss the paychecks they're rightfully due on October the 15th. However, no similar action seems to be brewing for other federal employees working without pay. And for continuing coverage, resources for families, and the latest on talks to get the government back open, head to our website, dcnewsnow.com. Time is 6:04. Look with your first forecast now. Jim Danners filling in for Scott Sumner tonight. Jim, what's the latest?
Good Saturday evening, not too bad of a day out there. We've seen a few little showers around the area, but down towards the south is where the main source of moisture is going to be coming from. There's an area of low pressure that's going to continue to strengthen and kind of ride up the eastern seaboard, and that's going to really increase our rain chances later on tonight and during the day tomorrow, and some of that rainfall could be heavy at times. But look at these temperatures, actually pretty pleasant out there. Mid and upper 60s, near 70 degrees there at Richmond, and seeing temperatures near 60 degrees as you go towards the Great Lakes. Again, that rainfall down towards the south, that's the main influencer that we're going to be watching over the next 48 hours or so. Temperatures out there right now a little closer in, mid and upper 60s near 70 degrees. There you can see Manassas at 70 degrees right now. A little bit further out towards West Cumberland, seeing those temperatures in the mid and upper 60s. But it's been a pretty pleasant day. But we've had a few more clouds around and some of those little showers around. It's kind of kept things a little cool around here. But what we've been seeing rainfall-wise today is nothing like we're going to be seeing again later on tonight down towards the south, and then during the day Sunday, all that moisture moving towards the north, and that's going to be again some of that rainfall heavy at times. Winds have been out of the northeast, been very light today, right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. There are your temperatures as we go through the next 12 hours or so, falling down to right near 60 degrees early tomorrow morning. I'll have my complete forecast coming up.
All right, thanks to Jim. Got a live look right now in Ocean City, Maryland. That's where leaders are warning of an incoming nor'easter storm. They say it's set to impact the mid-Atlantic coast. They added the effects of that storm could be similar to what we saw during Superstorm Sandy back in 2012. They say to expect 35 to 45 mile per hour winds, 1 to 2 feet of possible street flooding, power outages, and the Route 50 bridge might be impassable. The town says to expect heavy rain and strong winds to start tonight. Then tomorrow into Monday, the storm will intensify, bringing several cycles of high tide, and it could worsen floods in low areas. There's also a temporary shelter at the Roland Powell Convention Center on Coastal Highway at open starting tomorrow at noon. Should bring essentials like clothes, medications, and chargers.
Want our Bayside residents and visitors to Ocean City, all of our businesses, to take this seriously and to begin preparing now. Look out for one another. Check on your neighbor, talk to your neighbors, make sure everybody is aware of what is about to take place. Working together, we will all get through the next few days. Our goal is to get through safely.
You heard it there, the sound, a deadly blast in Tennessee. Well, new details tonight. Officials say that there are no survivors. The sheriff shared an update today after 18 missing people are feared dead.
And at this time, we have recovered no survivors. It's a great loss to our communities. And I alluded to it yesterday. It's not like working a accident. It's not like working a tornado. We're dealing with explosions. And I would say at this time, we're dealing with remains.
You can only imagine how many families are impacted here. We've got some new video from today. A look at the aftermath. What you're seeing now is before, and that is after. Absolutely nothing left of that facility there. Just pieces of debris scattered all across that forested area. Sheriff said about 300 responders are still working through the rubble, digging, and handle some of the charred explosive material. Unimaginable stuff. Back here at home, we are following developing news out of Maryland, where a school community is grieving after an 11-year-old was hit and killed by a school bus. Do want to warn you, some of these details could be upsetting. We now know the name of the girl who was hit. It's 11-year-old Summer Lim. Investigators say the bus was coming from Earlwood Middle School. Lim was walking her bike home from the middle school. This all unfolded on Russet Road and Bower Drive in Aspen Hill around 3:15 p.m. late this past week. There were other students on the bus at the time of the crash. No injuries were reported on the bus, but when police got there, they found the 11-year-old girl behind that bus. Community members left wondering right now what could have been done differently to prevent a tragedy like it.
There have been some better safety measures so that this is never going to happen again. That's all you want. You don't want this to ever happen again.
Pedestrian safety is critically important, but also road safety is critically important. And I think that this is an opportunity for us to pause and for us to focus on what really matters and making sure that our kids arrive to school safely and get home safely every day.
And after the crash Thursday night, we do know that the bus driver is on leave until that investigation is over. Officials said no charges will be filed until the investigation has been completed. Wood Middle School sent a letter to parents saying, quote, "I can't tell you how heartbreaking this is for all of us here at Wood Middle. Our hearts are with the student's family, friends, classmates, and everyone who knew and loved this child." Principal Slackoff there. Montgomery County, artificial intelligence may soon become key and what help 911 dispatchers with non-emergency calls. County officials say that nearly half of 911 calls are for what they call non-emergencies. That's why they say using AI would free up dispatchers to more serious calls.
We hope that this, paired with increased staffing and implementing more efficient schedules for our specialists, will move us closer to the goal of being able to answer 911 calls with zero wait time.
Montgomery County first responders say that they are planning to implement the AI in the new year. DC News Now is your local election headquarters, and from the economy to queer rights to that controversy surrounding the Democrat nominee for Attorney General, Thursday night's debate for Virginia governor had it all. Both campaigns are claiming victory, but will this debate and their performances change the race? Commonwealth Capitol Bureau reporter Tyler Englander breaks it all down.
It's a Virginia governor's debate that will be remembered for the candidates' positions on controversial issues and, yes, what felt like constant interruptions. Let's take a look at the memorable moments and their impact on Virginia voters. Thursday night's Virginia governor's debate quickly became about Jay Jones, the Democratic nominee for Attorney General. Republican Winsome Earl Sears going on offense after we learned Jones sent text messages saying former Republican House Speaker Todd Gilbert and his children should be killed.
Abigail, when are you going to take Jay Jones and say to him, you must leave the race?
After being asked 3 times if she still endorses Jones.
I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? Ms. Bamberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones?
Democratic gubernatorial nominee Abigail Spanberger said, quote, "We are all running our own races."
Obviously, the sort of drama and theater that Winsome Sears brought in the early going, particularly about Jay Jones, it was very dramatic. But I think that affects the Attorney General's race more than this particular gubernatorial race.
On LGBTQ rights, Spanberger criticized Earl Sears over her lack of support for same-sex marriage.
My opponent has previously said that she does not think that gay couples should be allowed to marry. She has said that
discrimination.
Something Randolph-Macon political science professor Rich Marr says was a big mistake for Earl Sears.
These are issues, unlike the transgender issues, where I think the public is not in line with what Winsome Sears believes.
Marr says despite the memorable moments, the performances from both candidates don't change the fact that Spanberger remains the likely favorite less than a month before Election Day. In Richmond, I'm Tyler Englander.
Well, thanks to Tyler. A lot can change in 3 weeks, though. Well, the 4-decade-old Army 10 miler will go on as scheduled after fears of possible cancellation from the government shutdown. Tomorrow's race will see some modifications, and it also means getting around Arlington and parts of D.C. will be a challenge. Runners will hit the pavement tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock at the Pentagon, but roads will start closing at 3 a.m., 5 hours prior, including 14th Street from Constitution Avenue to the 14th Street Bridge. There's more impact, and you can find a full list of those road closures and parking restrictions, too, over at DCNewsNow.com. Just search 10 miler. The Washington Capitals celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month by giving some kids skating lessons. Going a step further, they're encouraging them about a future in sports. There were nearly 100 students and staff members from D.C. public schools at the Columbia Heights Education Campus. The Caps also held a panel focused on career path identity, breaking into sports, and representation of the community. Earlier this month, the Capitals announced several Hispanic Heritage Month events. One of them this Tuesday. That's October the 14th. The team will celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night at Capital One Arena for when they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Coming up, Hollywood icon Diane Keaton has reportedly died at the age of 79. Take a look back at her life and her legacy. And meet the DC native taking center stage on The Voice. We talked to Kenny Aiko about the experience. Coming up.